On January 29, 2006, 12 miles north of Baghdad, our colleague Bob Woodruff was nearly killed when an IED exploded next to the armored vehicle in which he was riding. His wounds were severe, worst of all, a traumatic brain injury, TBI, a condition that, according to the Department of Veterans Affairs, has afflicted thousands of U.S. troops. Since returning to work, Bob has continued to focus our attention on others. Tonight, Bob Woodruff reports.
Don't you think he's walking a lot better than you saw?
Marine Lance Corporal Jeff Lande, Army Sergeant Michael Boothby, and I share a common bond. We all suffered traumatic brain injuries in Iraq. And thanks to the efforts of literally an army of doctors, nurses, and therapists.
Can you touch your shoulders? Good, good, okay. And then
We have all had amazing...
Let's see if you can run. Because you couldn't run before.
Even miraculous recoveries.
Woohoo! I think that's faster than I thought you would do it. Wow. I mean, you know back then you couldn't barely walk.
Yeah, I could barely walk.
Run. So before you were 120 pounds when I first met you?
Yep.
Now you're what?
172.
172. And that's from just working out and eating tons of food?
Yeah.
And while a TBI patient may look and act almost normal on the outside, many will have lifelong problems. The proliferation of IEDs in Iraq and Afghanistan has led to an epidemic of traumatic brain injury. Studies estimate as many as 20% of those who have fought there may suffer from TBI, many without even knowing it or showing any physical sign. Lost memories, unable to find once familiar words, fatigue, and even depression are symptoms. And sadly, many victims face daunting physical challenges.
take a deep breath, Siobhan.
Marine Sergeant Shervon Phillips' Humvee was hit by an IED back in May of 2005. He suffered a severe brain injury.
Oh, can you look over here? Look, oh, look over here. See you on camera, look. There you go.
It left him unable to move and unable to speak.
You got to smile for the girls. Say hi.
There's the smile.
He's still mute, but twice a week, Shervon works with a Veterans Administration physical therapist.
Just relax, get your balance. Okay, now try. See if you can push it out now.
All the time.
There you go.
Okay, you ready? I want you to do what that says for me.
And once a week, a VA
see what
speech
that says?
therapist coaxes him through exercises.
When I first started working with him, he didn't have any tongue movement at all. And so I was going in there with the tongue depressor and moving the tongue for him.
And now?
And then one day, well, stick your tongue out. Move it side to side.
The VA has provided Shervon with a computerized sensing device.
He just has to flare his nostrils and it picks up the movement.
But a
the
broken switch
right now is
complicates an
broken.
already complicated
So
recovery.
even though he is going to be getting a brand new device that is a computer with a camera right here, and it calibrates his eye movements.
But Shervon's every movement, every blink of an eye or movement of his
Get that
thumb
too?
takes a Herculean effort.
Release. There you go. Hey, Shervon, are you okay? Do you want to stop? Blink for me if you want to stop.
There's no question that he's at the very extreme side of those that have been injured.
Yes.
Do you think that there's an explanation of, I mean, you know scientifically or medically the difference between him and some of the others that were injured, that are slowly the brains are getting back together?
Well, from what I was told, his brain was deprived of oxygen.
The workings of the brain and the science of traumatic brain injury is still a world of unknowns, a fraction of an inch.
Your injury was quite severe. I mean, basically, you had taken out 3 different lobes of the brain.
A few seconds of oxygen, and there, but for fortune, go I and Michael Boothby and Jeff Lande.
Our brain is used to being in a closed cookie jar. When the cookie jar is open, our brain doesn't function as well because atmospheric pressure presses on the brain.
When I first met Jeff and his mother, Michelle, at Bethesda Naval Hospital a year ago, surgeons there had just repaired his skull with an implant. Jeff could barely speak.
Has your pain gone away since this went on?
I can't show it.
He's asking if it hurts. Does it hurt?
I know, but
okay.
I can't show it. I mean,
The last time I saw you was more than a year ago.
Yeah, when I was pointing my head.
about something not hurting and then yelling at her.
Have you recovered better than you thought would?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you embarrassed by having seen yourself back then the way it was? You don't even remember it.
No, I don't remember at all.
But is it embarrassing?
Not really. With somebody, if somebody laughs at me, I said, okay, get hit in the head by an IED, and then you can smile.
A year ago, Michael Boothby could barely move his fingers.
From this position, can you straighten these fingers for me?
What's the difference between your hand quality now versus then?
Now it's a lot better. I could do everything with my left hand that I couldn't do before.
Both Corporal Lande's recovery and Sergeant Boothby's has come with hard work and their families fighting to get the right treatment after they left the hospital.
Part of the TBI and his experience is getting the right kind of, not just the right kind of therapy, but the right therapist as well.
What would have happened had you not been able to win that fight?
You know, if I hadn't kept battling, we'd probably still be at home waiting, because there was nobody in our hometown area that was able to give him the services he needed.
What do you say to other families?
I think it's really important for them to just remember to breathe. It's so overwhelming. Make it through a minute at a time if you can't get through a day at a time.
And that's what Gail Eulery is trying to do.
Does he cry much anymore?
You know what, Bob? No. He don't cry as much as he used to.
Because he did quite a lot before.
Yes.
Good job.
And now do you think he's happier?
That's good.
Well, now that he is more aware and he's doing a little more with his hands and communicating, I think that's what, is doing it.
Does he have many friends that come by? Do the Marines still come by?
Oh, yes, his Marines buddies always come by and visit him. And you should see his face light up when they come by, especially when they're in their uniform.
Did you think when he first started coming out, waking up out of being asleep, that it would be this bad?
Well, I didn't think it was going to last this long.
How do you feel when you see those other injured, as they are starting to get better faster than Siobhan?
Whenever I see anybody else who has recovered really quickly, I just praise the Lord and I said, that's going to be Siobhan one day.
When you see May, for example, do you think that's going to be happening for Siobhan?
You're a miracle, a bigger miracle. That's why I said that's going to be Siobhan one day.
Do you think I should feel guilty?
No. No, you don't have to feel guilty. You do not have to feel guilty at all. Because everybody is different.
And the difference between the recovery of Siobhan Phillip.
Take it easy, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Can you say goodbye? All right. Gotcha, man. All right. I'll see you in a bit. Thanks.
In my recovery, Jeff Lande's recovery, and Michael Boothby's recovery, the difference depends on a lot of things.
You guys are amazing, and you're also very, very lucky. So it's nice for the folks to see you back.
I think lucky would be the best word for that situation.
I think blessed.
I choose to say blessed.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of both. You can have the best doctors and the best technology in the world, but if you're not blessed or lucky or a combination of both, then unfortunately...
It would have to be a combination of both.
That's right. Unfortunately, you're out of luck.
I'm Bob Woodruff for Nightline at Bethesda Naval Hospital, Maryland.